Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Rise. What is up, Myka, man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing?
Doing good. Back from vacation. Got a little refreshed going on, and happy to hop back into the saddle. And this is episode 174 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, Uber Lyft, all that share economy podcast in the world. And we're coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, and we're ready to bring it today. We're gonna bring it.
Yes, sir. Who we got on today, Stevie Stacks?
Well, someone who's ready to get jiggy with it. His name is Will Smith. Give it up for Will Smith.
Hey everyone, how you doing? I love the intro. I love the energy. I just want to first of all thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. My name is William Smith. I'm out of Dallas, Texas, originally from Los Angeles, California. Owner of Bigger Realty Professional. So I do real estate, basically real estate investor. I have a team of agents. I also specialize in commercial, and my agents do residential. So that's a little bit about me. I also want to really talk about this move that we're seeing in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We're seeing a lot of people coming from the state of California. And I know a lot of people are not happy about that because of housing prices. But you know what? It's also making the neighborhoods a lot more expensive. So for those of you, your equity, thank the people from California for your equity. They're helping you out as well. So my website is called Dallas.com, and it just basically highlights the great state of Texas and Dallas, which is great. I mean, Dallas is definitely been an amazing place to be. So that's just a little bit about it.
Why are so many Californians moving here?
Well, first of all, when you are a graduate and you graduate from college and you go home and you realize that it's going to cost you about $1,900 to $2,000 to get an apartment that's not even 900 square feet. And so we got people that are graduating with their masters, bachelors, and they're preferring to rent a room for $1,000. So when that's your option, you're looking for some place to go. And right now, it's been Texas, and mainly you're seeing that in Dallas. And I think I have a theory. I think In-N-Out really started the move, and then and then Toyota came, and then Trader Joe's. So I see this California infrastructure that just got created to bring a lot of these Californians along. So you know, there's something with In-N-Out. You got to follow the burger.
You know, it's funny. I've been a fan of In-N-Out Burger for a long time. I used to go out to Cali a lot back in the day, and that was the first stop. I had to stop at In-N-Out Burger. That was before, you know, they had them here, and freaking excellent. I was like, this burgers are unbelievable. They brought them here, and I don't know. They just, they're okay. I don't know if it's something with the Cali magic. Maybe it was just the forbidden fruit factor in my head, you know. Because here, I mean, they're okay. They're not, but the Cali, I don't know. Maybe it's the 100-year-old grills or something that they're using.
And it's the secret recipe. It's the secret recipe, the secret menu, and then also something to think about. In-N-Out has never done commercials. It hasn't been since the last 7 years. In-N-Out started doing commercials. So to have that type of following that you even know about In-N-Out, and I'm sure you've known about it before 7 years, and it's only because you're going to California. So, you know, I think there's something with that secret sauce that's bringing a lot of people back.
So when did you move
to the Metroplex?
When did you move to Texas?
So I've been here for about 6 years. I actually was here a little bit before In-N-Out, and then once the In-N-Out moved, I was like, wow, maybe we're on the same wavelength, you know. But it's definitely been a great move, and I don't have to worry about, you know, having the 50-year mortgage, because I was a teacher, and that's was a program they had for teachers in California. Think about it, a 50-year mortgage. So you could come to Texas and still live the American dream and own a home, own property, and not have to worry about getting a mortgage for 50 years. So there's so many great things. No state income tax, great schools. So there's a lot of opportunities, and most importantly, the diversity that we're seeing in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So it's pretty similar. You're starting to see a lot of those same California dynamics coming to Texas, which I think is good. Of course, I'm seeing a lot more bumper stickers now that says "Don't California my Texas," and so we know there is backlash. But when you think about the quality of living and being able to have your own home and to be able to live the American dream, I think is really important, especially for a lot of the millennials and even for the young people that are just graduating from college. They have that opportunity of moving here. You could buy condos still right now in the DFW for under $90,000. That's unheard of in California. So to be able to have a piece of the land, which we all know real estate's very important for economic mobility, especially for someone like myself who was raised in the projects, first generation American, first generation college, 3 kids at 19, to be able to have equity and to be able to move up, different social classes because of home ownership. So, that's very important.
Little question for you. Because you seeing like the whole, everyone from Cali, they're coming here and they're coming here in droves. What part of the Metroplex are you really starting to see them go to?
Frisco and Prosper. You're starting to see Frisco and Prosper. I mean, it is so crazy how popular Frisco and Prosper is. And now we're even starting to see Celina. Like when we're looking at the data, Frisco, Prosper, Celina, Plano was moving a little bit because, Toyota brought a lot of people with them. Mm-hmm. And so we saw that move. And so it's a lot of it is further north. But my job is to really give them the clear picture and really show all of Dallas, parts like Cedar Hill, Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, Arlington.
Bring them down here, man. Don't bring them to the south side. No, I'm playing. Don't bring them to the south side. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
Arlington, show them there. Because, believe it or not, I'm a diehard Raider fan, but a lot of Californians love the Cowboys. And so,
America's team,
well, yes, I get it. but nah, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love the California. The Raiders, the Cowboys, training camp. They'll be in Oxnard. They usually have an inner scrimmage together. So gotta love it, man. So it's a lot is happening in the DFW. I mean, the fact that Google is doing some things here, Amazon's definitely doing some things here. So there's just a lot of buzz. A lot of people don't know DFW Airport is one of the top airports in the country. Mm-hmm. So the fact that, we have all this notoriety, even Love Field is starting to build this reputation internationally.
And one thing I do have a question, because you got the Cali to Dallas thing and I'm loving it. Now, let's say somebody had a short-term rental catered directly to like relocations. What part of the Metroplex, like since Frisco's right there, is that a good place to have a short-term rental dedicated to those people while they're trying to buy a house? Definitely Frisco. Mm-hmm. I mean, Frisco is doing a lot. Their economic development department, you got the Star there. A lot of the medical facilities are being upgraded up there. So definitely Frisco short-term. And I would even say for your short-term rental people, find areas that are near hospitals. I mean, that is a number one thing right now. You're seeing a lot of these traveling nurses, looking for places. I got people calling me, hey, I'm just, I'm in the medical profession. I just took an assignment. I just want to be around the hospital. And so, especially with COVID and all these assignments now, a lot of the nursing stuff, they're really doing a lot of independent contractors with a lot of the medical professions. So so if you can get your short-term rentals near hospitals in your Frisco, McKinney, or just
any of those areas. I think that's a great move there.
So you being an agent, you probably heard on the news not too long ago about about a certain Cali person who bid $100,000 over asking price on a South Lake property. Did you hear about that
Yes,
story?
I heard about that story. And I'm going to tell you why it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous from someone who sold their 2,800 square feet home for probably $900,000. So when they come here and they could find something that's 3,500 square feet for $600,000, they just sold something for 2,800 square feet for $900,000, close to $1 million.
Right.
So if they can come here, which they probably sold their house and they have all this equity and all this cash, that they're willing to pay that type of money. Because if you look at the California market, we have homes that are 1,500 square feet in some areas that are going for 1.2 million, depending on where you live. If you're in Orange County, if you're in San Francisco, anywhere up Northern Cal, I mean, there's so many areas that the average home is about 2,200 square feet that are going for $1 million plus. So these people are seeing the value now, and they're selling their homes and they're coming here with so much equity. And so that's why when they look at these home prices, they're like, you know what, this is nothing. I'll pay it cash.
100,000 over asking.
Yes.
I have a question. Are the Californians changing their license plate when they get here? Because, like, I'm originally from Oregon and Washington, right? So, like, back in the day, when they started moving up to Oregon and Washington, they'd be bidding on these houses like 50, 100K over. And so, like, what the Washington and Oregon people start doing, like, when they see California tags, they start busting out the windows, letting it out the top. For real, man. This turned into some serious shit.
Oh, man.
Back in the early 2000s and 90s, late 90s, yeah, like, if they see California tags, man, they throw shit at your car. Because, like, these people were coming over bidding 100K over the asking price. Now, look back, now it's 21 years later. The housing price is stupid high between Portland to Seattle. So do you think that boom is going to happen here? And do you see the people change out their license plates, or what's going on?
I'm still seeing a lot of California plates. If you drive on 75, 635, 30, I'm still seeing a lot. But you know what? I might have to talk about that. Like, hey, when you drive in these areas, you might need to see if you can get a paper tag. And then come in with a lower offer, because what is happening once they do find out that people are from California, a lot of those agents are going up on those prices. So you are seeing that. Once they hear that people are from California, they're like, you know what? Oh, this person's from California. Let's get them. Get them.
Yeah, that happens too. Like when people up there, now a lot of people are getting mad at the neighbors because they be like, "Oh, this dude's from Cali, and he'll go sell his price at a house at a crazy rate, take the money, he's gone." So it's very now. My thing is, I'm wondering what's going to happen in the future, because Texas, of course, doesn't vote like Oregon and Washington. So I'm really interested in what's going to happen. Is it going to be a bubble pop? What do you see in the future?
So you bring up such a great point with when it comes to politics, and I will say you might see a change, but I don't think the California presence is going to really shift the politics that much, because when you go to Austin, Austin is a very liberal state. It is very liberal. Yeah. But the politics in Texas has still remained the same. Mm-hmm. And really, when you look at it, personally, I would say the politics is what's bringing people. The no taxes, the fact that Texas is an independent state and is not heavily regulated. I mean, I work with some contractors that really don't have to go through all these licensures to be licensed. And honestly, I think that's a great thing. We don't need all this red tape. And that's what has stifled a lot of Californians, is that there's so many taxes that they're paying that it doesn't even make sense anymore to be taxed out of trying to really have your small business. Because if we're saying that we want small businesses to thrive, then we should really pay attention to what we're doing with all these taxes in the state of California. So I think that's another reason why people are coming to the state of Texas. the governor here really took a stand during COVID. I mean, I thought it was interesting. You know, I politically, you look at certain things, and then when you're a business owner, you kind of understand things a little bit more. And when he was saying that, you know, hey, we want to open up our state. We understand that this is going on with COVID, but if we're a free country like we say we are, we have to let people make choices. And the fact that he allowed people to make choices, and I know it wasn't popular for a lot of people, but when you're a business owner and you're out here hunting every day and making a living for your family, and when you're being told that we have to close down and we have to do this and we have to do that, it really makes you look at things. And so that's what started the boom for Texas, was the fact that we were one of the only states that were open in the union. And a lot of people started flocking here during COVID. And in real estate, we thought we were going to see a decline during COVID, but it was crazy. The market started shooting up. And I think that's a testament to the independent spirit of Texas.
Are you saying liberals are bad for business? No.
Oh, man.
There was maybe like a 2 to 3 week window where you could get a decent deal.
Oh man, he'll be back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they're bad for business. But yeah, I will say this: Texas did, like the governor. A lot of people didn't like his opinion and stuff, but yeah, it did do a pretty good job. You know, during COVID and whatnot. Even the real estate is still pretty crazy here. You know, I don't know what's going on right now because you know the banks are pulling all the personal lines of credit and they just shut down all the home equity lines of credit applications. So I don't know.
What's up with that?
Dude, I don't know what that means. I'm like trying to gauge it, but like, you know, when they start doing stuff like that, you kind of look at it two ways. You know, the people who pulled like all their equity out of the house and put it in a home equity line of credit, they can sit back and have that cash ready. You know what I mean? So if something does happen, they do have that cash on hand. Because where he's coming back.
Okay. Yeah, it was something I heard. A buddy of mine sent me an article. I didn't even open it. He sends me all kinds of articles. Yep. But it's something to do with the banking collateral shortage.
Yes, that's what I felt too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got all this money with nothing to back it.
Yeah. You know, it's very interesting that happened.
Maybe Will can answer that for us.
Yeah.
I apologize. Can you repeat that question? I had some technical difficulties.
Myka was touching on how a lot of the banks are shutting down like personal lines of credit. And stuff like that. And so, and a buddy might send me an article, I haven't opened it yet really, about a banking collateral shortage. Now, what does that mean?
So what's interesting is that we are seeing personal banks shut down, but what we are seeing an increase of like mortgage companies and hard money lenders shut down. And so what you're seeing is money right now is cheaper for a lot of the big corporations, and so it's really, if you're doing your personal banking, it is a lot harder for you to have access to your money. So even if you drive around right now, drive around Wells Fargo, drive around Bank of America, you're not the drive-throughs. Most of the drive-throughs are not even operating. Bank hours, bank staffs are very short. You know, they're short in staff, and so, you know, when you look at the financial market right now, with all this fake money being poured into the economy, it's basically a strategy for more people to start borrowing, and it's just to get more people borrowing money. And so the more you borrow, the more collateral, and, you know, it's really just to keep us on that wheel, man. That's my thought on it. Now, if we look at it from the financial perspective, the economy is not as strong as it is, and so we have to keep people borrowing money right now when you look at it from the perspectives, and so personal banking is really becoming obsolete, and it's it's a lot going on when we're looking at the market, and that's why you're hearing so much talk about crypto, because there's the World Bank, and all this stems from China. You know, China's influence with trying to influence the World Bank and all these monetary notes that are being held up, and so it's really it's really about the control of the World Bank and the central banks. And so that's what's really going on. That's why if you look at what's going on with the bonds right now, the treasury notes, there's a lot of discussion there because if China could get it their way, cryptocurrency will be the norm. And that's why you're seeing such a big push with the US with not trying to have cryptocurrency, because once that happens and we can't have money centralized, because right now the dollar, money is centralized. You know, it's being controlled by the World Bank and the IMF, and once we lose that centralization of money, which will happen eventually with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, then you're really going to start seeing economies shift, because right now, this is why you see the American dollar so high and the euro and the yen. It's because it's all tied to the central bank and to these other countries that have the high interest loans, and that's why their money is devalued. Like NAFTA, what was done to the peso, or what was done to Haiti, or Cuba, or all these sanctions. I encourage you guys to read a book called Secrets from an Economic Hitman. And it kind of breaks this down a little bit more.
That's real. I mean, because I'm happy you brought this up, because like I've been telling people, and I made a whole Instagram video about it, you know, and I was like, yeah, kind of be careful about, you know, how you using money right now, because, you know, personal lines, they shutting them down. I ain't gonna lie, I took my whole personal line when I heard they were shutting it down, and I went and got me a unit. It's like, forget this. I mean, at least use it, you know, because what they were doing was they were like, look, we're going to shut it down, but after you know, whatever you use, you know what I'm saying, we're only going to charge you 1%. You have to pay 1% on it plus the interest. And I'm like, shit, I can go get an arbitrage, triple that, you know, and it's you know, use it on the business side. But on the personal side, it is getting tough out here, because I noticed they never shut down the business lines of credit, though.
They're not going to, because they can tie collateral and have ownership to your business. When it's something personal, it's just you, and if you don't have nothing, they can't go after nothing.
Exactly.
But if it's tied to your business, they can go after your property, they can go after your assets.
Now,
and
you know,
so go for it.
Man, because the business side, you can do a UCC file and whatever and have access to it. Yeah. Now, this is one thing that did concern me too on the home equity line of credit side. Your home equity line of credit is technically backed by your house. I wonder why they stopped the applications on those.
Well, they don't want you to have a home line of credit. They want you to refinance, because a home equity line of credit means that, yes, it's tied to your house, but remember, that's a separate loan. That's a separate credit. Now, when you refinance, you start from ground zero, and now it becomes a total lien. You can still get the lien, but remember, a home equity line of credit usually is like a certain percentage. It's not like you know, so it's easier for you to get out of a issue with a home line of credit in comparison to a refi. Because now refi, remember, that's a start over on the loan. Your payment might go down, but you're starting back on year one with your payments. And so a home equity line of credit, it's a separate line. So, and they only have it capped to a certain amount of money. And so it's not like when you're doing a refi where you're actually pulling out a lump sum, and then you're starting that loan all over again. And so to get out of a situation, it's easier for you to get off a home line of credit. So as a risk perspective, you would rather have someone in a total refi than a home equity line of credit, because as an investor, you know, you get more with a higher risk thing. You know, it's like, okay, if they miss these payments, then we're just taking this home. Home equity line of credit, you know, it's easier for you to regain your asset because it's not totally tied to that, you know, to your home, even though it's used as collateral. But there's still ways for you to manage to keep your assets.
Yeah.
In comparison to a total refi.
Yeah. And also refi, it's immediate return on their money. Because a
Yeah,
month later,
right off the back.
Yeah, you got to start paying it back. And I was like, on a HELOC, I can go burr up a bunch of houses, keep getting that money back, and then they can make money off of it, but it ain't like a refi. So yeah, it's real interesting.
Yeah, it's hey man, it's capitalism at its shadiest, but you know, it's what it is, man. It's pretty wild, but that's why we have to be informed. I mean, think about it. They had loans out here, and they're doing them now again, where people are just in these balloon payments, where you're just paying interest, and then all of a sudden, year 3, bam, you got to come up with that 20 grand payment. So it's like, you know, we're starting to see some of those same trends that kind of got us in trouble in like, what was it, like 08, 09, that era. But I mean, I think what's a little different with this one is that there are a little bit more provisions in place. But I mean, home loans right now and refis are at a record high once again. Plus the interest rates are pretty low. You know, you got some people getting 2.5s, 3%. And so, you know, borrowing money right now is cheaper, but you know, we all know that it's a lot of high risk because of the uncertainty with the climate that we're in, you know, because it's really uncertain. I mean, we hear about this new variant. I mean, you're hearing all these things going on. You know, people are talking about the real estate bubble. We are hearing talks that a lot of people haven't paid mortgages within a year and a half. Like some people are not paying mortgages because they have these COVID programs and they're getting up to a year and a half, and they're talking about extending it in some cases where they're going to tack this payment on the back of the loan. So if you had a 30-year loan, it would technically be 32 because of the forbearances. So we have, you know, some people who haven't paid in 2 years, well, a year. And, you know, so there's a lot of people that are predicting different type of bubbles that are coming. But I think Dallas is a little different because Dallas has so many thriving industries. And the thing that makes Texas different than nationally is that it is an independent state. It's very independent. And this economy has so many sectors that are pushing it. And so I think if when the bubble does hit, I think we're going to be one of the areas that's going to be very protected. And so, you know, I'm definitely looking at a lot of data and really trying to get an understanding on how this market is growing this fast and how can it sustain? Because some of these prices aren't sustainable. I mean, what I'm seeing in some of the areas in Fort Worth, I mean, I'm talking about cities like Azle right now. I'm looking at Azle real estate and looking at Azle, Lake Worth, Watauga, and just really starting to see those numbers going up, how people are moving into those areas. And then when I look at Dallas, the Dallas side of the Metroplex, I'm looking at areas like Crandall, Roy City, Greenville, and starting to see an influx of people coming in here. And so you just start looking at these trends and starting to see like how sustainable is this market? Because we're not even really talking about Dallas proper or Fort Worth proper. We're talking about these outskirts as well that are starting to bring people from all over the globe, mainly California, but we're also seeing an influx of people from New York. Of course, you know, Louisiana, you know, the neighboring states. But when you start seeing that move here, it really makes you wonder, like, what's really attracting people. And a lot of it is due to what we saw with COVID, and how the restrictions were not as severe, because COVID in California is still not fully open, believe it or not. California still is very regulated.
They're going back to the masks again. I saw
yes. So, I mean, if you're a small business owner, man, it's very critical.
So how do you fit in the whole short-term rental market?
So when I do the relocation, I look out for people that have Airbnbs. I work with people that do property management. So we're definitely helping people locate, even with some of these apartments that are doing 6-month leases. And then, believe it or not, what's popular now are these short-term rentals when it comes to office spaces. You're starting to see a lot of that. A lot of people are moving towards this quote unquote WeWork model, where you come and do these office short-term, no long-term obligations. And so you're seeing a lot of that with commercial real estate now, where you're having these short-term rental situations because of the uncertainty. And with the job market being the way it is, where a lot of people aren't sticking to their jobs. I think there was just a report just came out just the other day where they were saying that for the first time, they've never seen this amount of people that have either resigned or retired from their jobs. And so a lot of people are moving for jobs as well. And a lot of people aren't sticking to jobs. And look at the age that we're in. They call it a gig economy. And I would say it's the 1099 employee. You got your Uber, your Lyfts, your Airbnbs, your Toros. I mean, it's really the survival of the fittest and the individual who's able to really think outside the box, because we're going to get to a point now where there's really not going to be true full-time employees. We're even seeing this in higher ed. In higher ed, a lot they're talking about getting rid of the term tenure, where tenure professors used to be there forever, and now we're starting to see that their colleges and universities are moving away from that. And so what they're doing now is they're hiring adjuncts. And adjuncts are basically part-time employees that are on contract. And so we're going to have that same type of model with our kids' teachers in the future, where a lot of them are going to be on contracts, where it's probably going to be your permanent sub. That's a substitute technically only because they're not a full-time employee. So they're called a permanent sub. Yeah. So now they don't have to get benefits. They're just a 1099 employee. And so you're starting to see that.
It's funny that happened, because I remember the first few years of me being in the IT space, I actually worked my job like that. I was a 1099 employee, and I just didn't work for anyone. I was just independent contractor. And it was a good way to go about it, and we talked about it then, like we could see this eventually going that way. MSNBC just wrote an article as well. They said this time in the U.S., they're calling it the Great Resignation because there's so many people resigning just to work from home. So one question I did have for you is, how do we get on your short-term housing list for relocations? Because we definitely have the Airbnbs and short-term rentals.
You know what I'll do is I will, you just let me know your locations. When my leads come in, we could work together on that. Definitely help you fulfill those, because we do get calls. I mean, we get a lot of calls, and that is becoming a way for a lot of homeowners to make additional money. A lot of homeowners are renting out rooms. That's a big thing right now. A lot of people are renting out their rooms. A lot of people are doing Airbnb. I have an Airbnb down near Addison. So I'm definitely familiar with it. I got friends that are doing it. And so a lot of people are doing those type of things. I mean, I had a friend that told me he's now putting his car on Turo. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Turo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a rent-a-car. And so he's talking about buying another car just for Turo. So, we're really being creative with the ways we're making money. I mean, I have another friend who's professional. I mean, they're doing DoorDash. I mean, they're looking at different ways to bring in additional income. And so that's just where we're at right now with with the way things are in our economy.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I've got a few deals in the making, but I don't know if I need to be a little cautious or what. But yeah, I'm definitely happy to see where it goes. And man, you've been dropping some gems on us about what's going on around here, man. So
thanks, I appreciate it.
So what are the Cali folks looking for when they're coming here? I mean, as far as a short-term rental for a while, what are they looking for?
Accommodations, accessibility to shopping, dining, and just really entertainment. Because you got to remember, we're dealing with a lot of these folks from California that we're so used to paying these high dollar prices, and some of them, right now we know that a lot of these houses are multiple offers, and so just having a place for them to have those accommodations while they're looking for their homes, because that's one thing that you're going to see with a lot of California people. They're going to want their short-term rentals, but their long-term goal is going to be to own a home. Mm-hmm. But with this market, short-term renters, those short-term rentals are going to help out a lot of people, because we know that the inventory is less than 1 month. There's not a lot of homes on the market. If you go to realtor.com right now and put in whatever city you live in, you'll see less than 20 homes. I mean, it's crazy. If you go to Dallas and just put in Dallas, you might see maybe 25 homes come up. You go to Fort Worth, you might see 30. Depending on Plano, you'll see low-level homes, especially when we're talking about the price range from $150,000 to $300,000. Once you go up to $300,000, yes, there's more homes. But when we're talking about the average salary, which in most cases $40,000 to $60,000. And that's about $150,000 to $200,000. Man, there's slim pickings. There's really nothing there. And so short-term rentals for people who are relocating, that's what you're going to see. Those are going to be your target audience, are those individuals that are looking for homes, but they can't find it, and so they don't want that a year lease, so they're going to want something in the middle.
Now, what would be the best play for an investor? For example, like someone like me or Myka that own 4 or 5 houses. Should we sell them all and try to put the money into like a small apartment complex? I mean, what's the best play out there?
You know what? The best play right now, believe it or not, are condos. If you could find condos with low HOAs, are the best play, because condos are still within the $80,000 to $100,000 range, and you could still make a lot of money off of your condos. Your 2 to 3 bedroom condos, you can still get your $1,500 rent. You can still get some good rents off of your condos.
We're spoiled though, man. We like that arbitrage play, making $3,000 or $4,000 a month on a place.
Yeah, true.
Telling us what to do.
I know that is one of the things that you have to deal with an HOA, but the good thing with the condos right now is that your upside, once you sell them, the equities are going up pretty quick on condos right now. We're seeing condo equities going up. I mean, it's amazing to hear stories from someone say, hey, I just bought my condo last year for $75,000, and now I could sell my condo for $140,000. And we're talking about, this is within a year with some folks who bought condos at that price range, and now they're walking away selling it at $140,000. And so these people now are having to deal with that. Where do I go? So those people are becoming also short-term rental people, because now they're either moving in with friends, and doing different things, because a lot of people are taking the money and running with it and renting, because they're like, you know what, I'm going to wait for the market to go down. It's real estate. Go ahead, let me make my $200,000, let me make my $100,000, let me make my $80,000, and then wait for this market to sizzle down, because we all know how real estate works. It goes up and then it comes down. And if we see what some people are predicting, a lot of people are saying that it might come back down again, kind of like what we saw in 2007. So
that's cool, man. So you'll be my agent and help me find some condos?
Hey, I'll definitely be your agent to help you find some condos. You tell me when you're ready to go, man. I don't sleep, and this is what I do.
Nice.
Definitely.
Well, because here's how I kind of shifted my mindset a little, and because like I said, we get a little spoiled from our arbitrage plays, making $3,000 to $4,000 a month on a 1-bedroom, 1-bath somewhere, doing Airbnb or short-term rental. But and I'm like, and a buddy of mine asked me, because I put my 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here in Hurst, which is right down the road.
Yes.
I went up from $1,550 a month rent to $1,750, and I got a lot of interest, and I got someone in there. And they asked me, man, why don't you just try to, well, first they said, try to Airbnb it. I said, well, they banned Airbnb in Hearst 100%. Also, you go, oh, you could do corporate and you get more money that way. And I was like, you know what? I'm starting to view my houses as just those are my savings bonds. Those are my savings bonds. Let them sit there, make all right money, and gain equity. Okay, and I'm not going to mess with them. I'm not going to sit here and hunt down corporate renters every month and stuff like that. My arbitrages are my business. I'm going to go out and find one. We're up to almost 20 already, and we're making pretty good money on them. That's my business, where I'm going to try to max it out as much as I can. That's where we're putting all of our effort. But my 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, I'm just letting them roll, letting them get good, dependable renters in there with good credit, and just letting them pay. And then every couple of years, I'll go up on the price. Those are my savings bonds.
No, I think that's a great strategy. But remember, condos as well. You can do Airbnb. I mean, I can tell you right now, my condo in Addison stays full. Ooh. Right off of Montford, not too far from what do they call that? Sidecar social stir, that area right off of, and so it stays full. And once again, we did have a nurse that took an assignment that was there for like 6 weeks. So condos are definitely fitting more of the millennial lifestyle. The millennials, they like that. It has the pool. It doesn't have a lot of maintenance. They get to be social. So it all depends on
and your HOAs,
your target. The HOAs have been cool. HOAs have not been having a problem. The problem has been the city of Dallas and that new tax. Because there's a Airbnb tax that if you're not registered now, you're getting taxed. So that's the issue. And still trying to find out, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know there was a tax. How did they know this was on Airbnb? When you receive that notification, I was like, oh snap, there was a tax. So you look at that, see something that said Dallas County Assessor, like tax assessor. I was like, oh, Airbnb tax. So they're monitoring Airbnbs. And so different cities now have different regulations and different taxes specifically for Airbnb. And so I think that too is creating kind of a discussion. I know there were a few meetings at City Hall about certain areas they're trying to remove some of the taxes and different things. So really looking at your city is also, what's going on with Airbnb. I wonder, is Arlington like that? Because I would think it would be more lenient with all the stuff that's going on in Arlington with Airbnb.
Arlington is rough over here.
They banned it a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Permit. Yeah, Arlington was one of the first ones to really, well, Grapevine was the first one to shut it down. Then Arlington, they didn't shut it down, but you have to be in this entertainment district and you have to have a permit. Now, what scares me about Dallas, and I'm happy I arbitrage over there and I don't own anything, I would be careful when they start going into, hey, you have to go register, you have to go sign up. Anytime the city has something, and this is for all the listeners, anytime the city has something where there's no system behind it, they're usually going to come in and try to shut it down. And that's what they did in Arlington. They gave everybody free reign. And let's just be honest, if you give people free reign to pay taxes, they ain't going to pay them. I mean, to be honest, if you give people a choice, hey, do you want to pay taxes? They ain't going to pay it. So unless you make it a system. So that is one thing. If anybody who has houses in Dallas, like where you own something, I would definitely tell you at the next city hall meeting, tell them that they need to get with like Airbnb and tell them that they want Airbnb to partner with this city so Airbnb can pay the taxes directly to Dallas. Then it's out of the people's hands, because the people, yeah, we're great, but if it comes to paying taxes, we ain't got to pay them. I mean,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, that's real. I mean, those are some real things to deal with Airbnb. But I know a few people that are doing very well with it. Doing very well with Airbnbs. Very well.
I saw some signs driving through Dallas earlier today, and I saw them all over these yards, and it said stop the rezoning. What's going on in Dallas right now with the rezoning?
What part?
I was going around Love Field and then up into Cedar.
Oh, okay.
Cedar Creek.
There's so many apartments coming in. A lot of people are bringing in these apartments because we know there's a housing shortage. So you have a lot of investors that are coming in and just throwing up these, nice upscale apartments, but they're bringing in a lot of apartments, and so people are like, instead of rezoning for apartments, let's rezone for affordable housing. And so that's why I don't know if you hear a lot with the Dallas debate, it's about affordable housing. We don't have affordable housing in Dallas. That's what you keep hearing. But a lot of investors are bringing in a lot of upscale apartments. And then what you're also seeing in some of these areas too, a lot of rezoning for these smaller homes. And then now you're seeing these McMansions. And so a lot of people are trying to stop that, where they're going in and buying up 5 lots and building one big home. And so they're trying to, you're seeing that debate. They're trying to stop that. You have some people that are trying to stop people from doing that.
They're doing that in West Dallas too.
Yes, big time.
Building up, buy a whole big lot, replat it, and then build one big ass house on it, man. Then you got like this big ass $500,000 house next to this $50,000 crack house. I'm for real, man.
No, that's what's happening.
West
that's
Dallas,
what's going on. Yes.
West Dallas is crazy. Like if you go to West Dallas, man, it's like you built nice ass block, nice ass big houses. You got the trap house across the street, man. Like, and the trappers ain't leaving, man.
No, they're not. But you're seeing a lot of that. So those are the 3 things. The McMansions that are buying the 4 or 5 lots and building one house, which is creating a lot. The investors that are buying up these lots and then putting these apartments, and then the people that are saying that we're doing all this, but we're not pushing affordable housing. So that's like a lot of debate, what you're seeing in the city of Dallas right now. It's crazy because it really is like the Wild Wild West when you're looking at real estate and zoning. Dallas is just a hot market.
It's funny because like you see these city council people get up there and say all this stuff about affordable housing, and even blaming it on Airbnbers. We're the ones raising the housing prices or whatever. And then, but they're never on all the solutions they have. Kick out Airbnb or stop the rezoning or whatever. They never mention, hey, stop raising our damn taxes every year because you just make my mortgage go up $500 this year. It's like they never have that as a solution, but everything else is the problem.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever get that. You'll never get that one. They're always going to try to bring that up, and then if you notice, when the taxes raise up, so does their monthly pay, their stipends and things go up, because now if you notice with Dallas too, they're also putting for an increase in their quote unquote monthly pay for being public servants, because a lot of these public servants get paid, and so they're increasing their salaries as well. So a lot of these tax dollars are going to an increase in their salaries. So it's one of those things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's in it for me?
It's pretty sad, but that's what we get out here.
Well, I got me an Airbnb condo agent, Will Smith.
Yes, indeed.
Gonna find me some nice condos in Dallas and Addison,
Yes, definitely be here to show you and even help you.
Huh? Oh yeah,
even
yeah,
help
yeah.
you with property management. You know, I got a team that will help you with property management as well. So
Oh yeah,
definitely
one-stop shopping.
got
And
to.
and so back in the day, we used to joke, about people that go out and party in Addison or people that live there. It's full of $30,000 a year millionaires in
Yeah.
Addison. I guess
Oh,
that's up
big
to like
time.
50 or 60,000 now with
Yeah.
inflation. But they act like they like to pretend like they're big ballers for a minute.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed.
Oh,
Addison
yeah,
is
Addison
still,
that way.
it's still pretty live up. And then now I noticed the big thing even in Dallas. You're starting to see this whole Sunday brunch and mimosa push. You know, you're starting to bring.
Oh,
A
like
lot
New
of people
York,
are
LA,
talking.
yeah.
Yes, so you're getting that Sunday brunch vibe out here. So happy hours. Happy hours and Sunday brunch. I mean, that's the buzz in Dallas. Like, hey, happy hour, brunch, brunch, brunch. So you're starting to see a little vibe in Dallas, and which is really attracting a lot of these folks out here.
Now the best place to
So,
watch all my soccer matches is still the Londoner in Addison. I love it.
okay, so that's
Yeah,
your spot.
it gets live out there, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well,
Good
cool. I look
stuff.
forward to connecting with you and helping me find me an Addison Airbnb condo, and all of our listeners out there. If you need someone to help you find something over here in Dallas, hit up our man. He'll hook you up.
Definitely.
Where can people find you?
So you can find me at Cali2Dallas.com. That's the number 2. Or if you're on Instagram, you can go to Urban Educate on Instagram. So that's my personal Instagram. You can kind of see a little bit about me. And so it's not just all about real estate. It's a little bit about my books that I read, a little bit about my travel, but it's Urban Educate. And I'm really new to this social media thing. I've been really off of social media and really haven't gone into it. But once I left higher education and really started to do entrepreneurship 100%, I started increasing my social media, and it's still something that I'm still fairly new with. But I'm starting to realize that it is a necessity. It's really important to have an online presence. And so I'm starting to now get behind the shadows and starting to get myself more visible out there, because for a minute I was not visible. I was like, you know what, I don't want to do Instagram, I don't want to do YouTube, I don't want to. But now I'm starting to do some things and starting to put some content out.
Facts, man. Yeah, the more people that know what you do opens you up to a lot of opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
We're going to have to definitely talk off air. I was seeing your books you read. You read Think and Grow Rich, and you read $40 Million Slaves. I got to talk.
Yes. As a former athlete, man, that book hit me hard.
That book is deep. That's a deep
very
one.
deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got to definitely talk off air about that one. That's a deep one. Not too many people I know read that one.
Excellent.
But yeah, man. But yeah, thanks for coming on. And Steve, did you have any more questions? Or?
No, I'm going to get his contact info, man. Get me a condo out there.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you guys so much for allowing me this opportunity. I wish you guys nothing but success. I hope if you guys have families and kids, I wish them nothing but prosperity and nothing but the best for your futures and your family.
Same to you, my brother.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right.
Man, that was a good one, man. He definitely dropped some gems. I'm happy he cleared up that home equity line of credit and personal line of credit stuff that's going on. Because I'm like, man, I'm still kind of weary about that. That's like, when you start cutting off access to capital, and if something happens, you only have a certain people that have access to that capital. It does turn into a wealth shift, though. You know what I mean? So definitely interesting.
And yeah, and what I was telling you about, like a shift in thinking, it is cool to have these, we're getting, our ultimate goal is to buy real estate, right? I mean, that's what I think, because that's the best place for your money to grow, and the best tax advantages, and someone else is paying off your note for you. That's the 3 powerful things right there. And but you can have the best of both worlds. We can have our, safe 3-2s and doing their thing. If you can Airbnb them, fine, make more money. And if it push comes to shove, the city shuts you down. Well, at least it'll make you a little bit of profit on your house, and you can still find other spots to do your Airbnb and arbitrage and stuff like that. And like you mentioned, you're lucky, you're glad that your Dallas properties are arbitrages. So if the hammer comes down from the city, you can get out, pretty much scot-free, or not almost
really,
scot-free.
Not really. Well, I'm not involved because remember, it goes to the residential neighborhoods.
Right.
I'm just on the apartment complexes. See,
yeah.
Thing we got to really look at. I mean, especially, and I've been like, people who follow me on Instagram know I've been real heavy on this. And I was in a meeting with Al Williamson. He said it the best. Airbnb is for rookies. We got to get off that. He's like, it's a tier, right? So your goal is really to be a corporate housing provider. That's why I was like, hey, if you have the reloads, that's what I need. I'd rather have the relocation people, the insurance people, those people coming in. And then you can have your houses be those, you know what I mean? See, what we're doing is, look, I'm gonna tell people straight up, if your goal is to start an Airbnb, have it on Airbnb and just have it like that, you're going to always be in competition with people. But if you start to differentiate yourself where, okay, let's say that 3-2 in Hearst, you have clientele coming to you like, hey, I need somebody for 6 months. I need somebody for 9 months on a consistent basis, and you automate it. That's where you want to be. See, the problem is we got to get out of this Airbnb thinking. Airbnb is just a platform. If you look at this whole board behind me, that's the whole goal of this, is to get out of Airbnb. You have to have contacts. You need to be contacting people on LinkedIn, global mobility partners, especially after listening to this podcast. He's telling you these people are coming to Texas and to Dallas heavy. So that means if those people aren't contacting you because you're sitting on Airbnb, that's a you problem. You got to get off Airbnb. You have to learn how to, if you treat this as a business, you got to go advertising as part of business, R&D, research and development. That's where it has to be, because it's us sitting here waiting on Airbnb to do our advertising and marketing. Them people, they ain't calling Airbnb. They calling global mobility. When Toyota moved here, they called a global mobility specialist to move all their employees here. You got to be on those. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's the new buzzword now, global mobility. That's
that's what they're called, global mobility.
So that would be the CHBO. You have it written behind you on the board. Chubbo, the corporate housing by owner, Furnish Finder.
Yeah.
I guess Peer Space. What else you got up there?
Peer Space, a bunch of stuff. ALE Solutions, Verbo, LinkedIn, all that's up there. It's because we have to start networking to where we can build this as a business. I'll tell people straight up, if you listen on Airbnb, you don't have a business, because if Airbnb shuts down, you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have a business. You have an Airbnb, which is dependent upon whatever they do. And if a guest complains, they can take money from you. So I'm like completely out that space. We have to like really go deep into how we're doing things. And man, like even now, like I'm actually buying houses right now. I just got an offer accepted because of how I'm buying them. Like I'm buying houses off market. I really want y'all to listen to that episode that drops tomorrow with Andrew LeBaron. The stuff he was given was the game changing. That was one of the episodes that really shifted my mindset. He's like, I get houses creative financing, then I'll put them on Airbnb so he can get a house for $1,000, then put it on Airbnb and make money off of it, or short-term rental, or however he wants to do it. You know, getting into those types of strategies, I think that's where this space is going, because the arbitraging with apartment complexes is starting to get oversaturated. And people are like, if you go to these Facebook groups on Instagram, on Facebook, they're asking, hey, I'll sell you a list of apartments that let you do corporate housing and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so you're letting a bunch of amateurs in. So what happens is you have a low hanging fruit here, you know? So, but yeah, it's just a matter of a mindset shift of getting further into the business. You know what I mean?
I love that, man. That's real talk. Real talk there.
Yeah. It's about matter of, shifting that mindset.
People love our show, man, and we love doing it. So this has been, and we're motoring towards 200.
It's gonna be fun, man. Gotta keep on going. Yeah, we'll be at 200 by the end of the year. We'll get it going.
Man, we're gonna have some special stuff on that show for everybody. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all of our episodes, man. We don't just tell people, we learn while we're doing this, and that's the best. Man. So
That's the best part about it, learning.
This is a LLT university we got here.
There you go, man.
Let's coin
Edutainment.
that. Well, cool, man. It's great seeing you again, and it's a really, really informative episode. And we hit it from every angle. You know, we hit it from every angle all the time, different.
So everybody need to go get in touch with your local realtor that does relocations. So yeah, and you can find us on liveletthrive.com. Email us at liveletthrive@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. I've been posting a lot of content on Instagram. Y'all definitely got to check it out, stuff that we're working on. But yeah, hit us up, liveletthrive@gmail.com, and follow us. We are out.
Later.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.